How's that volume for everyone out there who's watching? I know you can't actually chat right now, but if you can probably click on that YouTube icon down on the bottom. If you click on that, then you should be able to chat. You should be able to go to the actual YouTube page and chat itself. I'm trying to get this chat working, but it's being a bit of a pain. Okay, cool. Looks like we have the chat working now. If you're on narrative.so/webinar, you can holding shift, refresh the page, and you should be able to see the chat. Anyway, I'm going to swap over here. Hello everyone, welcome to the narrative webinar for this morning. We're going to be doing a getting started webinar. So welcome everyone. If you're here for the first time and you've only just started using narrative, then welcome. We're glad to have you here. Feel free to ask any questions you want, talk to, say anything you want. You could, and so today we are going to, looks like the stream died, maybe. Is the stream up? I've been told that the stream is offline. It's not offline. The stream is live. Video output low. Oh. Okay, it's not ideal. Anyway, we will carry on. I'm going to try to close a few tabs so we can get as good of an experience as possible. But anyway, welcome to the Narrative Getting Started webinar. If you're here, feel free to talk in the chat, say hello. I'd love to talk with you. And if you are watching this after, welcome as well. Today we are going to be going over just the basics of narrative. It's going to be starting from the very start of signing up, downloading, and then we're going to go from creating your first blog all the way to publishing, and then followed up by some little tips and tricks. So first things first, let's get started. Sorry about the late start, a few technical issues, but you know what? We live and we learn. So starting with narrative, if you haven't downloaded narrative before, you don't have a website, you don't have a login at the moment, you're just going to head to narrative.so and click start trial. You click start trial, it's going to ask you to sign up, and then you can sign up, and once you've signed up, you'll be taken to a downloads page where you can download the app. Once you've downloaded the app, double click to install it and move it to your applications folder. It's very simple. I'm not going to run over it now because I already have it installed and I have a few blogs there. But anyway, so once you have narrative installed, you can open it up. I'm just going to open it up here. Then we're going to drag you down here. So once you have narrative installed, let me change over to this one. You can then sign in. 1 second, sorry. Cool. You can then sign in. So I'm going to sign in with our Narrative account. We'll go. I think I got that wrong. Cool. And then when you sign in, you're taken to your main blog page. Now this is your blog page that this is your home page that contains all of the blogs that you have currently made on Narrative. So as you see here, I have 4 blogs that I've made. I have Sonia and Nikolai. This is a copy of another one. I have a blog that contains a little bit of a secret. I have Anna and Lee, which is another wedding, and I also have Asher and Libby, which is more of just like an engagement shoot, I think. And so when you're here, you can toggle between all of your blogs. You can look at your published blogs and your unpublished blogs. And then, and so if you want to open up a blog, you just click on it and we go to the blogs, and here's my blog. This is the one that we made last week in our Getting Started webinar. This is another one that we have made. Might take a second to load. Actually, I'm not sure if the images are linked on this one. We'll leave that one for now. This is another one. That we have made, and then we have one more. But anyway, let's get started. So when you're going to start your first Narrative blog, you won't have any blogs here, so you can click the Create Blog button in the middle of the screen here, or you can click this Create New Blog up here. So when you start your new blog, all you need to do is name your blog. So I'm going to name this one Naomi and Jake. And because that's the name of the couple that I'm going to be making a blog of, and then we're going to select a folder. Don't worry about the padding and background color for now, we'll come to those a bit later. So I'm going to open this up here and go to my documents, and I have Jake and Naomi here, and I'm going to open that up and then click Create Blog. Now I forgot to mention who I am. I am Sam. I work at Narrative, and I look after the customer support area, along with making sure that the people who use the app know the app the best they can and make sure that they have a really good experience. That's basically who I am. If you're in the chat, feel free to say hello. It would be nice to have someone to talk to, but if not, if you don't want to, no worries. Cool. Okay, so now we have made our we've started with our blog. When we get in here, the first thing we see on the left is our gallery. That's where all our images are stored. And then on the right we have our document settings. And so these have our master settings, it has our image properties tab and our SEO tab. Don't worry about these for now, we're going to come back to them a bit later as well. For now we're just going to start building a blog. Because that's what you want to do, right? You don't really care about too much else. So we're going to, the first things first, we're going to drag in an image. So you can do this by just clicking and dragging on an image. You can drag it wherever the blue line shows up. So say if I want the image up here or image over here, I'll click there, and now I've got the image on the side of it. I'll also grab this image and chuck it on the bottom, and then let's grab one more. I think that looks nice. And so that's how you can start dragging images inside your blog. If you want to add more than one, you can select 2 at once, or you can select 4 by holding Shift, and then you can double click and they all get put underneath. You can also select 2 and holding the command button, double click, and the images get put side by side. So this is a really quick way to help build a blog. And so if you double click on any image, it will also go in. So we go this one, and then we go, I want 2 underneath it, like that. Now I want these 2, like that. That's because I have this one selected. Add those ones, and then this one, and then that one, these 2. And then now we already have a blog. How easy was that? The simplest thing you could ever do. Anyway, so now we've done the basics of our Narrative blog. That's really all it is. If you want to publish your blog now, you can do that. But if you want to keep making it a bit more interesting, you can do that as well, but we'll come back to that in a moment. For now, we're just going to publish it and get this blog to our website. So I'm going to click the publish button, and it's going to show up my publisher settings. So this is the way that you get narrative onto your website. And so so for now, we're going to publish onto WordPress first, and so we're going to put in our narrative, our website's URL, and let me double check what this is. It is that one there. And then I'm going to paste that inside there and click on the WordPress logo, and then our theme is with Showit, and so I'm going to continue with Showit. And then now our narrative is connecting to our website. I've actually skipped a step here, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to delete this plugin just for now, so that we can walk through the whole process. Deactivate. Okay, cool. So when you first go to publish, you'll come to narrative, and you'll put in, if you're with WordPress, you'll put in your URL, you'll click on WordPress, and you'll put in your theme, and you click continue. And then narrative is going to be, hey, we don't actually have your plugin installed. So one of the really cool features with narrative is that we have a plugin, and if you install this plugin onto your website, you can connect it. You can start, once you've set it up once, you can automatically publish your blog whenever you make a new one. So that's why we recommend installing the plugin, and so you can set it up this way. So I'm going to go back to my website here. If you need to install a new plugin, you go add new and search for narrative, and then we already have it installed, so I'm just going to activate it. If you haven't had it installed, then you'll have to click activate as well. Now that my narrative plugin is activated, you can see it over here, and we go in. This access key shouldn't be here, but anyway, that's just because I've installed it before. Now I'm going to head back to narrative and click on the publish settings and click check. And now narrative is going to check if I have the plugin installed. Now narrative sees that they have the plugin installed, and it's going to be like, hey, I want to give you a special key that you can put into your narrative password, narrative plugin. This is just so that narrative can connect securely and doesn't allow any security issues. So I'm going to click up here to copy that, and then I'm going to paste it and click save changes. And now that's saved, so I'm going to head back to narrative and click check. Have a bit of coffee while I'm at it, and then now narrative is successfully connected to my plugin. I'm going to now it gives me the option to choose a category. So I'm just going to leave it as uncategorized for now, just because it's a general one, and it also gives us the option to publish it as a draft. This means that when we publish our blog, it isn't going to go straight live, rather it's going to sit as a what do you call it? A draft. Anyway, and now I click update, and then narrative's going to say that you're not running Gutenberg, which we don't have that enabled at the moment. Gutenberg is just another version of WordPress that we think is a bit better, a bit more intuitive, and a bit faster as well. But I'm just going to click skip Gutenberg for now, just so we can get this going. And then I'm going to click start publishing, and then now our blog is starting to publish. So we'll give that a minute or so, and then all of our images will be up and onto our website. So while we're doing that, there's also another way that we can publish onto WordPress, which we will go into just after this one is published, and that is publishing manually. That publishing manually just means that we take the code and put it onto the website ourselves. So basically, what the plugin is doing is skipping us having to paste the code onto our website, just saving us time. So now that my blog is published, I'm going to click on, sorry, let me change that. I'm going to click on visit page in here, and then that's going to open up my Safari window and take me to my blog page. So now I have my blog here, and it's looking all fancy. And how easy was that? It's off-centered because of the way that we have this website set up, but no worries. And then, and so that's as simple as that. Now I'm going to, if I want to make this published, I'm going to click on Edit Post, and then this is what the backend looks like in the classic editor. If it's in Gutenberg, you'll see the whole blog inside a Gutenberg blog. And now I can click on this Edit and Narrative button, allow this page to open up Narrative, and then Narrative is back up. Narrative is back there. That didn't actually work for me because it's a different version of Narrative I have installed, but don't worry. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to click Publish, and you'll see that our blog title was taken over, and if we were to do other SEO words, that would also happen. Cool, so that's that there. So now let's go back into Narrative and let's publish manually as well, and we'll get that sorted. And so I'm going to unpublish this blog for now, and then click yes. And then I'm going to change this category to Don't Publish. Now, if you're unable to connect your plugin, this will probably be the way that you will need to publish to your website. So you probably won't be given the option of Don't Publish. Rather, you'll click Skip installing the plugin, or you'll just click Other on your website. But I'm just going to click Don't Publish, as that publishes the code instead of the actual, instead of automatically pushing it to your website. So once I have that set as Don't Publish, I'm going to click Publish, and now it's just going to upload again. While we're uploading that, does anyone have any questions or anything like that? Cool. I'm now going to click Copy Link. And then Narrative is going to copy that link. So what this has done is given us an HTML code that we now put onto our website to load up the blog. So I'm going to hop back over to my WordPress, and I'm going to go and click Add New. Under Posts, I'm going to name it Jake and Naomi. And then, especially on the classic editor, you click over to this text tab here, and you paste in the code, and then you can click back on the visual tab, and it will load up the first image of your Narrative blog. And then we can click Preview, and our blog should load up. Maybe that didn't work because I didn't save it. 1 second. We'll click Preview again. Oh, that's weird. Not sure why that isn't publishing properly. Anyway, we'll leave that for now. You should have, when you paste this code in, you should have no troubles. Now we're going to look at it. I'm going to turn Gutenberg on, and we will see how to publish manually on Gutenberg. So I'm going to deactivate that. I'm going to go Add New Page. New post, and then instead of just pasting the text in under the text tab, we have to click on this Add Custom HTML button, or your custom HTML button might be up here. Click on that there. Let me get rid of one of these, and then we're going to paste that code inside here. And now we click on Preview, and then there is our blog. And so let's click on Preview, and it will generate the preview, and then there is our blog again. Cool, okay, so now that our blog is working, we're good to go. We can go back and publish it, or what we will do is we'll go and publish onto Squarespace now. So I'm going to unpublish this blog again and go from the start of publishing onto Squarespace. So if I click on this icon here, it's going to pop up with our publisher settings. If this is your first time, you won't have the URL obviously, but I'm going to click on Squarespace and click Continue. And then that's all you need to do for Squarespace, and you click OK, and now you click Publish. And now that it's done publishing, we can click the copy link again, This is the same code that it will give you for WordPress, and it was the same code that you can put on any website that includes an HTML builder. So say if you're on Wix, you can use it on there along with other websites like Webflow and Format. So I'm going to hop back over to my Safari window and go to my Squarespace account. So when you log into Squarespace, you go onto your website, and you can now click on your pages and go new page, blank page, and we're going to go narrative. Actually, we'll go Jake, Naomi. Click on that there, and now we've got an empty page. And let's click edit, and let's click on, so when you get into here, you're going to, it's similar to how you do it on Gutenberg, click on the plus icon and search for code this time rather than HTML, and you get this little HTML, CSS, JavaScript window that pops up. Paste that code inside them and you'll know if it's correct if that image shows up, and then you click apply. I'm going to delete this text block, and then we can click save. And now we have our blog on our website. So that was simple enough. Let's go here and check out what our URL was. And I'm gonna open this up in a new incognito window. And we'll go narrative@squarespace.com/Jake and Naomi. And then here's our blog. So now we have our narrative blog there. And how simple was that? So every time you need to publish onto Squarespace, just publish, copy that code into a code block, and you should be good to go. Cool. Okay, so that's publishing. Does anyone have any questions about publishing? It's pretty straightforward. If you run into any issues or anything with publishing or don't know how, either come back to this video or just talk to our support, and it's super easy and super friendly to talk to. So now we're going to move back onto going into our blog building, and we're going to go have a look at some more of the more interesting stuff that we can do inside our blog. So first things first, let's go back to our blog, and you will see that, I've forgotten what I was going to say. Anyway, back inside the blog, we have these, we have our layout here. If we want to add more images, we can simply just add more images here. Let's add one up there, and you'll see that this blue update blog button shows up. We'll come back to that shortly. But let's change the padding of our document. So the padding is the distance between your images, and so if we want a larger white space in between these images here, we will change this. Let's change this to like 40 to make it a bit more interesting, give it a bit more space and a bit more room to breathe. And then we are going to, so that makes our blogs a little bit more interesting. And now we're going to look at this add block button. So this add block button is the first way to start making your blog a little bit more interesting. So we click on this add block button and we pop up with 3 different types of windows. The first one is a text block. So if I add this inside here and I go, hey, let's just say Jake and Naomi's elope. Was amazing. And then now we have some text inside here. When we click on the text box, it opens up the text properties tab, and we can change this to like a header 2, a header 3, and all of those, and that will match what's on your website. We can center this, we can move it wherever we want, and we can make it, if we highlight a bit of text, we can make it bold, or we can make it italicized, or we can add a link as well. So that's really good for linking inside for SEO purposes. And then, so that's step 1. So now we've got some text. Let's move on to this blank box space. So the blank block space, you can pick it up and drag it to where you want. And it acts as an empty image essentially. So it gives you a little bit more space to move around. And so we can drag some of those in, and it kind of looks a little bit more interesting, but it's also just a bit weird. So we have that. Like, yeah, I can see that it's gonna look a bit more interesting, but now it's just like kind of this square looking blank space. If I double click on one of these blank spaces, I enter cropping mode, and then I can drag these around. And so I can make them smaller and larger, and make my blog stand out a little bit more, make it feel a bit more flowy, a little bit more interesting. I'm going to drag that one up there. And then let's add one more over here. Cool, okay, so that's the blank block. So you can see how, compared to like this layout down here, this layout is pretty standard. And it's just like your normal 2x1 blog, or like 1 image, 2 images, 1 image, 2 images. But now up here, in about 30 seconds, we have this more interesting layout here. Next part to making a more interesting layout is you can actually do what you did with the blank space to your images as well. So if I double click on this image up here, we're going to enter cropping mode, and now I can move this image inside this frame wherever I want. So grabbing on these little black squares, I can make the image smaller, and I can bring it to the center, and these little lines show up, and now I've got that image inside that frame smaller. And so I can also drag this with the square, with the blue bars, and make it larger or smaller, the actual frame itself. Or I can pull these ones out and make it larger and kind of crop in a bit if I just want to have their face, which is a little bit weird. I'm not sure if I like that, so I'm going to click on the image and go back to this image properties tab and click revert. And so that's going to take it back to where it was before. But let's try some of that custom cropping on these images below here. So I'm going to double click, grab that image, drag it up there. I'm going to make this a bit smaller, and then we'll grab that there. And then I'm going to do the same but slightly differently over here. Grab that there. And then let's add I want to find a portrait image to put on the side of this. Let me see if I have one. That one there. So let's drag that and make that a bit smaller as well. I don't really like that space over there, so I'm going to double click and make that smaller, but then actually make this image larger inside there and drag that down. And so now we have a bit more of an interesting layout. And so that's looking cool. I'm pretty happy with that. So you can do that throughout your whole blog and make it much more interesting that way. The last block inside this add block button is the download images button, and so we usually put that at the bottom, but this is a really good feature for being able to share your blogs with the couples or the people who are going to be viewing your blogs. You can make, like, say if you went and shot a wedding and the day after you had some previews for them, you could go and make a little cool interesting blog like this, and then you can send it to them onto your website, and then they can scroll through it, and then they can click the download images button at the bottom, and it will put all the images that are there into a zipped up folder, and then gives it to them. And so we can change the name of this to like give me images, and we can change the fill, the color, and all of that as well. So we have a lot of options there. Cool. Okay, so that's how you make a more interesting layout. Why don't we click update blog, and then let's just see what happens. So when you update your blog, that's all you have to do. So if your code is already on your website, or if your blog is already automatically published, the narrative will just automatically update it, and you don't have to change the code at all. So what we're going to do is update this and then head back to our Squarespace website and refresh the page, and you'll see that the changes are there. And so whenever you need to make a change inside narrative, that's all you need to do. It's super simple. And that also helps a lot in terms of if you have some edited images that you want to edit slightly differently. So say if we had this one here, we're like, oh, I actually don't really like the color of the water in this, or the color of his shoes. We could go into Lightroom and open and just edit it, and then overwrite this file here, and it will change inside our blog. And then all we need to do is press update blog, and we will be good to go. So now that our blog is updated, we're going to head back to our Squarespace website and refresh the page. And when the page refreshes, you will see It's taking me back down to the bottom, but look, here is our website, here is our blog, all updated and looking fancy and looking nice and cool. And then we get back to the more boring part, but there we go, that's what we have there. And so that was super simple, and it was super simple to update the blog as well. So I'm going to head back to narrative, and I'm going to show you the other little add-ons that you can add to your blog. One of the more recent ones is the include Pinterest buttons, and so that is including a Pinterest button to each image. So these buttons will go in the top left, or I have them as the top left, or you can go wherever you want them to, and you can have them in if larger or smaller as well. And you can also include Facebook comments. You can attach this to the post URL, so you can get the actual comments as well, and that will just appear at the bottom. We also have this lightbox feature, which I don't believe that is actually enabled yet. This is coming in an update to you guys soon, so I'm just going to leave that for now. But lightbox shows up the image when you click on it, but you guys will hear more about that soon. So now that I have that, I'm going to press update blog again, because I do want my images to be pinnable and have Facebook comments, because having pinnable images is really good for SEO, and also it's a really good way to kind of develop your brand on Pinterest, and also just getting your real cool images around. And so when that finishes uploading, we're going to head back to Squarespace and look at that as well. So while we're waiting for that to update, quickly I'm going to tell you about this image properties tab. So whenever we click on an image, we head into our image properties tab, and so that's this one up here, and that will show up our image. It will then give us the option to change its aspect ratio, so we can make it into a square, we can make it into a 5x4, 3x1, and get some nice set aspect ratios. I'm going to set it back to 3x2. Actually, I'm going to set it to square, and then show you that this revert button makes it set back. You can also click on this button here to enter cropping mode if you want to. Image keywords is something that we'll come back to shortly, but you can also add an image hyperlink. So say if you wanted to take this to the waterfall on a map or something like that, then you can just click on that there. You can also export your collage. And so that's if you select multiple images. Say I hold down these three by holding command, and then I select these three, I can make it into an image collage. I can open that up and click export collage, and that's going to save inside that folder, which is actually a bit nice. So we can go collage, and then that's actually going to add it back to narrative, I believe. Somewhere there. Okay, so there. So that is the collage that we just exported. So this is a really cool way to add to your social media. So you can say if you have one of these as part of a little blog, you can do a little bit of a teaser and put it up on your blog, up on your Instagram, and be like, hey, look at this, I made a really cool blog, here's a little section of it, go check out the rest of it on my website. Cool. Okay, so now that our blog is reloaded, I'm going to update it. I'm going to reload the page, and now we will see that when we hover, we have these Pinterest pins, and so I can click on them and it opens up Pinterest, and then we can see at the bottom of the page we have our Facebook comment along with our give me images. Cool. Okay, so that's that there. Now let's head back to narrative. And then last thing will be the SEO tab. So now we're going to have a look into SEO. SEO is a really important feature of narrative, and it's basically it basically helps your blogs rank better, your website rank better, so you'll get more people coming through. We highly recommend doing SEO, as it will help your website maintain reliability and credibility, along with ranking higher, so more people will come onto your website. So narrative has a few cool ways to do this. If you click, so say if, in order to start doing your SEO, you need to click on this SEO tab up here. You click on that. So narrative works off of a focus keywords structure, or it works off a traffic light system, and so you have good SEO which is green, orange SEO, which is like kind of average, and then red SEO, which is bad. Currently, we're all at bad because we don't have any focus keywords. And so your focus keywords are your focus keywords are the keywords that help you, that tell narrative what you want to focus on with this blog. So, I spelled Jake's name wrong, didn't I? I'm going to change that. So your focus keywords are the ones you want to focus on with this blog. So we recommend choosing between 3 to 5. So I'm going to click on this box and start typing them. And first one will be waterfall, elopement, and maybe what else would we want to focus on here? Like bushwalk or bush. Let's focus on bush, bush, and then we'll put photographer there as well. So now that we have our focus keywords, we can click off of it, and now it's going to be like, great, okay, I have something to give you feedback on. So now that I have my focus keywords set, I can see all the rest of these. So we have our SEO title, our meta description, image keywords, and text content. So first one is our SEO title. Now if we click back onto the master documents page, once again I'm going to take a sip of water. We can now click on we can see the blog title over here. So currently we have our blog title as Naomi and Jake. And this isn't a great SEO title because it's only going to be scraped as Google as, this is just a page about 2 people. Rather, this is a page about our focus keywords, which is waterfall, elopement, bush, photographer. So let's go waterfall in the bush, elopement. I can never spell elopement correctly. Elopement. To the top. Okay, now let's head back over to our focus keywords tab and see how we did. So narrative is saying that we have a good SEO title. So this is because our SEO title is a good length. We recommend staying, I believe it's around 55 characters, and including all of your focus keywords, as these are the keywords that you're planning to attack with this blog. So if we go back here and we remove one of these, let's say we remove photographer and we head back to our SEO tab, narrative's gonna be like, hey, that's a really good length, but you're missing out this focus keyword. Why don't you try adding it? And that's because narrative is noticing there's a difference in your title to what your keywords are. And so this gives you an orange light. And so an orange light doesn't necessarily mean bad. And SEO title is also based on user experience, which narrative isn't smart enough to tell you if this reads well or if it looks nice yet. This may come in the future, but for now it's just telling you based off what Google likes to see. So you still need to make sure that your SEO title is good for readability. So let's just leave that for now and head over back to our documents tab, and now we're going to add our meta description. And so your meta description is the description of the blog. It shows up on Google underneath where the blog title is, and it's basically a description of what your page is focusing on. So let's say this beautiful waterfall is in the forest of blank, because I can't remember the name, but if I was going to publish this properly I would have put the real name, but not for now. It was such a great time shooting, really recommend, or something along the lines of that. And let's head back to our SEO tab and we'll see our meta description. Now we have some content filled there, and it says, okay, you only have 103 characters. This is less than the recommended minimum of 125. We recommend between 125 and 160 because that's how many Google usually shows under there. And so let's just say Jake and Naomi were the best. We'll go back and change that. And now let's head back over to narrative. And now it's saying that meta description is good length, however you're missing some of your focus keywords. So we recommend adding your focus keywords inside of your meta description, even though Google doesn't actually rank against this. This is just for user experience sake. And so when someone searches those keywords, they're going to show up in bold, and it means the user is more likely to click on them. But for now, I'm just going to leave that because we're going to move on to our image keywords. So image keywords is one of the best ways to improve your SEO. And basically what an image keyword is imagine you're trying to describe your image with words. Someone comes along and they can't see what your image is, however they can hear what your image is through someone speaking it to them. And they should be able to understand what the image is about through the image keywords. And that's basically what Googlebot does. When Googlebot scrapes over your website, it can't see what the images is, or it can't see them that well, but we can, and we can give it some text to assign to the image. So say we go click on this image here, we're going to be taken to our image properties tab, and we're going to type coffee in the bush at a wedding. And so this is so I would say this is probably like a mediocre image keywords. It describes what's going on in the scene. You can probably, if you were to describe it to someone, they would probably be able to answer it and be like, oh yeah, something similar. And you can also, but it might be a little bit too long, or there is like a bit too many kind of meaningless words. But if we were to go to this image over here and we'll just to say like white dress, that isn't very good image keywords because, I mean, a white dress doesn't really mean much. And if anyone searches a white dress, one, they're going to be ranking, a lot of people are going to be trying to rank for this, and also this doesn't describe the image well. So maybe we go back here and we go white dress in front of a waterfall. Cool, okay, so now we've done 2 of our image keywords. We can press tab and move on to the next one. And so now we've taken over to couple in front of waterfall and bush. And then we'll click tab and we go down to the next one, and we can click tab again, and maybe we want to do that as the same, or maybe we want to do these 3 as the same because they're all of a couple in front of a waterfall. So I'm going to select them by holding command and then type in the image keywords. So we go beautiful, waterfall. And now we've done all of those 3 image keywords there. Cool. And then the other way we can do this is if we can select multiple, or we can press Command A, and we have to remove the blank spaces. And now we should, and that one, and then also this one here. And now we have all of our images selected. So we could go back through and name all of these image keywords as well, but we won't do that. And so now if we head back over to our SEO panel, we can see that 6 of our 20 images have image keywords. Maybe for better SEO, we should add image keywords to the rest. I'm not going to do this for now because it does take a bit of time. If you do want to skip over it, you can select all of the images and do them all as a general one, and that will help a bit. However, it isn't the best practice, and we recommend doing a description for each image. But now that I have my one last thing of SEO is your body text. And so body text is important for SEO as it gives a bit of context to what's going on in the blog. And this is really important from Google trying to understand what's going on the page along with user readability. So we recommend a mixture of approach. It's unlikely that if you add a massive chunk of text at the top of your page, it's going to look very nice. So we recommend doing like a bit of text and then adding some more a bit later and giving context to your blog that way. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as this because it takes a bit of time. We recommend doing around 300 words in your blog, as that gives it a good balance of not too many words that's spammy, but not too little words to lack content. Cool. Okay, so now that we've done our SEO, I'm going to click Update Blog, and that's going to update one more time. Cool. Okay. And so that is our blog there. So if you does anyone have any questions? It can be anything from the start to the finish. We're going to just do a bit of a Q&A. Feel free to ask any question you like, and I will do my best to answer. While we're waiting for those questions, thanks for tuning in. Since you've come and watched this webinar, you have access to this code, to receive 20% off of Narrative. The code will be webinar20. I'll get that. So if you use that code at any purchase, you should be able to, you will get 20% off any Narrative plan. Cool. And so if no one has any questions, I think that's going to be us for now. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's joined in and everyone who's going to watch in the future. Sorry about the little bit of technical difficulties that we had at the start, but it seems like everything is good now. If you have any questions or need help with anything, feel free to reach out to Narrative support. If you just head to Narrative, I will show you. And you just go Narrative. There's this little icon down here, and we can click on here and we can go, hey there, I need a hand, and we can send that there, and then soon we will get a response. And so if you also please add your email, it makes it a lot easier for us to get back in contact. But if you need a hand with anything support-wise, feel free to reach out to us. Or if you just want to chat, feel free to reach out to us as well. But for now, that's it from me. Hope you all have a lovely rest of your day or night wherever you are. Have fun blogging.